Everybody loves to hate these little guns, but the reality is there are some people out there that depend on these guns to protect their lives. We can't change it. I kind of hate this saying these days, but it is what it is. And for those of you that depend on these guns, you want to make sure these guns run for you as best as they can until you can get something better. So I want to go over a couple of things to look at when you have these types of little guns. And as far as maintenance wise, things you should pay attention to. Now these guns are very simple in operation, and those of you that own them, you already know that. They're very simple blowback operated guns. Very simple safeties, very simple feed mechanisms. There's really no sights to worry about except for what's been molded into the slide of the gun. But because of their simplicity, you also have to keep them very clean. These guns do not like to be dirty. So the first tip, if you buy one of these, is to clean it very well. Now typically when you see these in pawn shops, they're usually not in the best condition. Sometimes you see them in really good condition, but for the most part you see them, they're a little bit beat up, they're really dusty, they might have a lot of gunk, for some reason people like to put grease in them, and that grease has hardened up a little bit over time, and they're just in poor operation. So if you buy one direct from a pawn shop or a gun store in used condition and you take it out to the range and try to shoot it, most likely what you'll encounter is a lot of malfunctions. And then people will just automatically say, hey, it's malfunctioning, of course, it's Saturday Night Special, it's a piece of crap. But what I encourage you to do is strip it down completely and look at the internals of the gun itself and clean it. This gun was in pretty good condition when I got it. I still cleaned it even though it was in really good condition, just because I like to clean my guns. When I first get them, I like to take them apart, familiarize myself with them. But I still cleaned it, and the things I paid attention to were right in here. This is your sear. Get in there. This does come out. You can get in there, clean in there, get all the gunk out of the sear. Of course, the barrel you want to keep clean. The surfaces around the barrel, in the case of this gun, this is a Raven. These surfaces right here you want to keep clean because this can cause friction in the slide. These tiny little slides have to be very frictionless when they recoil in order to reliably feed around. If there's a lot of friction, it's going to take momentum out of this slide and you're going to end up with malfunctions. So you really want to clean in here. Common place that people forget to clean is underneath the grips. You can just take these grips off, these stocks off really easily, get up in there, especially the trigger assembly, clean all the gunk out, put a nice light coat of oil on it. And the slide right here, the firing pin channel, this assembly right here that I'm pulling out, this has the firing pin itself, your spring, and your keeper. These you need to keep immaculate. Also inside this channel, you need to really keep clean, keep it well lubed, because that's going to assist in how reliable this gun operates. If there's a lot of gunk in here, you're going to have issues. The same thing inside the slide. If there's a lot of gunk in there, a lot of old grease or dirt or lint or whatnot, you're going to have issues with the operation of the gun. Also, the safety. This is an old slide safety. There are different styles of safety depending on what type of gun and brand you get. But on these old type guns, these cheap guns, and again, I'm referring to these, they're so-called Saturday Night Special or Ring of Fire type firearms. And there's a lot of different brands out there, but for the most part, they're very, very similar in design. But you want to make sure you keep the safety clean and operating just because, well, for safety reasons. You don't want to have a gun that does not have a functioning safety. The magazine is the most important part of this gun, and often the most neglected. These magazines are real inexpensive, and they don't hold up well. You can see this one. The mag lips on these have been bent and rebent. The video I had with this gun, when I first shot it, these lips were bent out a little bit too far and the rounds weren't feeding correctly. And oops, I did some bending on these magazine lips and now it's working. But you really want to make sure these things are clean. Any small issue with these mags will definitely screw up your gun. And I've stated before time and time again, for these really expensive guns, you really want to pay attention to the magazine, even more so than what you would on a standard semi-automatic. These things are the weak point of these types of firearms. So in any case, thanks a lot for watching. And I can't say I recommend these types of guns for self-defense, but if you have nothing else, you have to make the best of what you have until you can get better. Sometimes people just cannot afford even a $200 pistol. And these things you can pick up for literally 40, 50 bucks these days. And if you can get one and get it to function, that's worth a lot in my opinion. So alright, thanks a lot for watching. As always, stay safe.